What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bass and Pottery. Now today, as you can see, I have a ton of baits in front of me right now. And it's that time of year. It's March. Today is March 15th. The time that I'm recording this is March 15th. And these bass are starting to move up from deep water to shallow. They're transitioning to shallow banks, shallow flats, getting ready to spawn, making their beds. But right now, at least the part of Virginia that I'm in, Northern Virginia, we're in pretty much the beginning of pre-spawn. And these bass are going all over the place, eating, feeding. And today I want to talk about some of my favorite baits to fish in March. Now, I've been fishing once this month so far. I didn't catch anything. It was way too cold. But recently we've been getting some warm fronts. It's been really warm outside. So we're going to show you some baits. And also, March is one of those times where, depending on where you live, you might be in pre-spawn. You might be almost done with pre-spawn. Like, people down south are already catching pretty decent sized fish. Up here, in Virginia, we're starting slowly up. If you're way up north, like in New York, something like that, or Michigan, you're still going to be having some cold temperatures, but still stick around because you may forget to watch this video later. This video still applies to everyone out there in the world right now, at least in the United States. But anyways, guys, let's get into the video. Alright, guys, so I have two categories that I like to fish in the pre-spawn. I like reaction style baits, that's moving baits like chatterbaits, crankbaits, swim baits, things like that. And I also like to fish slow. This is more towards the spawn, but sometimes fishing slower bottom baits can also catch fish. So I'm going to start off with the first category. And that first category is moving baits. Now, moving baits, if you don't know what a moving bait is, it's essentially any type of bait that moves, has a decent amount of movement, it moves a lot of water, or that just moves quickly. And they're called also reaction style baits. Now, one of my favorite is a chatterbait. This is a jackhammer right here, and this is a regular Z-Man one. This is also Z-Man, but this is more expensive. Chatterbaits are really good, especially around cover, because chatterbaits, they hunt. So whenever you fish them, they hunt. They shake and do all these things. And especially the part of the Potomac River that I fish, you guys know that there's a ton of grass, and a chatterbait does a really good job of going through grass. But also, these bass are moving from deep water to more shallow water. So this could be transition points. So transition points are basically areas where your lake or pond or reservoir or whatever you're fishing transitions from a deep part of the body of water and slowly transitions up to shallow. Sometimes this could be points, it can be drop-offs or slopes, it can be laydowns that transition from deep water and slowly rise up to shallow water. This could be anything, so keep your eyes open and try to find these areas, because most of the time there's bass there. Oftentimes I catch my fish off of like drop-offs, you know, when it starts to slope off to shallow water. Oftentimes I catch my bass on those. But a chatterbait, moving baits in general do a really good job at finding these fish, because you're catching those fish as soon as they're trying to move up to shallow water. So chatterbaits are a really good bait that I love. Also, crankbaits, square bill crankbaits, shallow diving crankbaits, any type of shallow diving crankbait. Not so much deep divers or lipless crankbaits, but any type of shallow diving crankbait. And I love a square bill crankbait. And then also, a good color to throw in the springtime or around March is red. As you can see, I have a red chatterbait, red crankbait. But also, natural colors do good as well. Depending on what forage you have, you can use any color that you want. And also, another thing, March or pre-spawn is one of those time of years that, as long as you find fish, you can pretty much throw whatever you want and you'll catch fish. But these are mainly the baits that I like to throw, and you might also like them as well. But not a lipless crankbait, a square bill crankbait or any type of shallow diving crankbait is really good. And my last favorite bait, moving style bait, is going to be a fluke. Now, I always find myself throwing a fluke. Always. I always have this thing tied on one of my rods. And I like to fish it on a weighted belly hook because it gives it some more weight. I can fish it quicker because it sinks faster, so I can start twitching it right away. But you can fish this pretty much. Also, another good fish Another good bait that you can throw on this style hook is a swim bait. Paddle tail swim baits are not my favorite thing in the world, but you might like them, and this technique works really good with paddle tail swim baits as well. Just throw it out there on those transition areas, twitch, 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 give it some action, move it, and most of the time you're going to catch those fish off guard, moving from the deep to the shallow end of the lake or pond or whatever. So a fluke is just, I love it so much. I don't know what it is, it's just so versatile. I put this bait in my favorite winter baits as well, because you can just fish it so many different ways and methods. But this is the first section about my favorite reaction or moving style baits. So now we're going to move on to the more slowly, more finesse style baits. So let's get into that. Alright guys, so basically all you really need to know for my favorites for the springtime when I'm fishing like a slow moving bait, I basically just like a weighted Texas rig. Right now I don't have a weight on it because I don't have line on this, but any type of creature bait, worm or Senko or any type of bait, just Texas rig it, throw it out there, fish it on those areas where you know those bass are going to be transitioning to the shallow water. Just fish it there. Don't fish it so slowly. Try to move it, give it some more action than you would, let's say in the wintertime, and it will catch fish. It will catch fish. And if you're not the type of person that feels comfortable fishing reaction style baits, I highly recommend throwing a slower moving bait. Another bait that works well is jigs. Now I don't really like jigs, simply because I just don't really like them. I don't know what it is, I just don't like them. But you can fish pretty much any type of bait as long as you're fishing on those transition points or areas where you know those bass are going to be moving up shallow. You're going to be fine. So there's nothing much to cover for this. One of my favorites though has to be creature baits. Now the reason I love lizards, I love beavers, I love craws is because the part of Virginia that I'm growing up in right now, in Northern Virginia, there is a lot of rock, there's a lot of wood, and there's a lot of grass. And I'm going to pop up a clip of a crawfish that I caught in the Potomac River that pretty much looks exactly like this, only it's not this color, it's red. But craws are just such a good bait that I love personally, and it could be lizards or any type of creature bait. I love creature baits. But that's pretty much it for this section of the video and this type of and style of fishing. But basically, yeah guys, this is all of my favorite lures and baits for the pre-spawn and springtime. You know, water temps are starting to warm up, air temperatures are starting to warm up, so I highly recommend go fishing, go to your local pond or go wherever you like to fish for bass, and trust me, you will catch fish. Now I haven't caught fish yet, but that's just because it was a bad day, it was cold that day. But try these baits out and you will most likely catch some bass. And as always guys, stick around to see more amazing videos from me. And then as always, also before I do the outro for this video, I will be leaving links in the description to where you can buy these baits or baits similar to it. But as always guys, stay positive, stay happy, and go catch some fish. Peace.